Good morning, friends. Today we are going to continue the next part of the unit third of the analytical chemistry. We have seen generally the introductory part for this AS and AFS atomic spectroscopy. Then we talk about the energy level diagram. Now we are going to start the flame photometry. Draw the schematic diagram of the flame photometer and explain the working or explain the principle of the flame photometer. Likewise, the question will be there. Now, first of all, we talk about this particular what is a flame photometry and all likewise. As we aware about this flame photometer, what is a FES, flame emission spectroscopy, and it will studied on the device. It is called as the flame photometer, and the technique is become the flame photometry. The principle is that when the metal salt solution is introduced into a flame, a vapor containing the atoms of the metal is formed. The following events will take place. First of all, the solvent evaporates, leaving the tiny solid particle of the metallic salt. The solid is dissociated by vaporization into the gaseous atom of M and E. The atoms of the metal are raised to higher energy level by the thermal energy of the flame. The excited atoms emit energy in the form of the radiation. The excited atoms emits energy in the form of the radiation. The schematic diagram of the flame emission is shown here. First of all, what will happen that we have seen whatever written that is shown in the schematic diagram. What will be there? First of all, we are taking the salt and we are preparing the its solution. It is called as the salt solution. In the salt, you should always remember there will be the cation and anion. If we are talking regarding the metal salt, at that time metal will there and it will represented by the symbol M. It will become M plus. Whereas the anion that will associated with this metal will nothing but the A minus. That's why it is given M plus and A minus solution. What will happen when we are going to heat? It will form the mist, that is M plus A minus. After the evaporation of the solvent, it will convert into the Ma solid. Okay, after the vaporization of this metal Ma solid, it will convert into the Ma gaseous. And that gaseous Ma, after the thermal excitation, after further heating, it will give the metal atom M star, that is excited metal atoms, which emit the certain sort of the radiation and comes to the ground state. This is the flame photometry. This is the principle of the flame photometry. Got this point? What is there? When the metal salt solution is introduced into the flame, what will happen? The vapor containing the atoms of the metal is formed. The following events will take place. First of all, the solvent will start to evaporate, which will lack that the tiny solid particle of the metallic salt. Then that particular after the vaporization, what will happen? That Ma will dissociate into the gaseous form, Ma gaseous, and this is interchangeable. Ma gaseous will convert into the, it will after the thermally heating, further heating, then the metal will rise to the higher energy level by the thermal energy of the flame. Thermal excitation of the metal will be there. It will goes to the excited state and it will come back to the ground state by emitting the certain sort of the energy in the form of the radiation. Got this point? Here it is in the schematic function. Now we have to talk about the energy of emitted radiation. Let's consider E1 and E2, which represent the energy of the atoms in the ground and the excited state, respectively. Then, what will happen? The frequency of the radiation emitted when the atoms falls to ground state will be given by the quantum equation, as we already do. Whenever we are talk about the atoms or say which according to quantum mechanics we are going to study further things. Means what will happen? What we are considering, we are saying like that E1 and E2, these two are representing the energy of the atoms in the ground state and excited state respectively. Then the frequency of the radiation emitted when the atoms fall to the ground state will be given by the quantum equation. That is delta E is equal to E2 minus E1. Where then according to the quantum mechanics or the Planck's theory, you know delta E is equal to h nu, and therefore where h is equal to Planck's constant and nu is equal to frequency of the emitted radiation. As far as the Planck's theory of quantization of energy is concerned, all the energies are quantized, that we all know, and it will nothing but delta E becomes equal to h nu. That you should always know. In the physical also we have seen that Planck's theory, in the Planck's theory it is given in the next semester, that may be there, or say okay, delta E is equal to h nu, where h is equal to Planck's constant, nu is equal to frequency of the emitted radiation, but nu is equal to c upon lambda. It is nothing but a speed of light divided by the wavelength of the light. That's why delta E is equal to hc by lambda. The wavelength of the emitted radiation will be given by lambda is equal to delta hc upon delta E. The number of atoms excited in a flame is a small fraction of the total atom population. The fraction of the total number of atoms excited is given by the Boltzmann equation, that is n upon n0 is equal to a into e raised to minus delta E by kT, where n is nothing but a number of atoms in the excited state, n0 is nothing but number of atoms in the ground state, a is the constant for a given element, delta is the energy of excitation, that is equal to h nu, k is Boltzmann constant, is the temperature of the flame in degree Kelvin. Okay, then what we have seen, that n upon n0, that is the Boltzmann equation, correlates that the fraction of the atom which are excited to the corresponding population of the atoms which are present in the ground state. N upon n0 is equal to a into e raised to delta E by kT, where n is nothing but a number of atoms that we have seen already. Then the number of atoms in the excited state, n0 is the number of atoms in the ground state, a is the constant for the given element, delta is the energy of excitation which is becomes equal to h nu, k is equal to Boltzmann constant, T is equal to temperature of the flame in the degree Kelvin. Now you got this principle of this particular flame photometry, what is there in the principle. Very simple things are there, you can see there. What we have talked in the flame photometry, what happens, that you should remember always, it is very much important. What we are doing, first of all we are taking the salt, or you can call it as we are taking the sample having the number of elements with their with respect to that number of elements which are present in that sample along with their salts. Means at when we are taking that sample, or say we are taking the metal salt, at that time first of all we will dissolve, we will make the solution of that particular metal salt, right? And then that metal salt solution we will introduce into the flame. What we will do, we will introduce that metal salt solution in the flame, and vapor containing of the atoms of the metal is formed. What will happen? It will form, means after the heating, or say when we are sending, or say we are passing that solution, metal salt solution into the flame, at that time the work, that main role of the flame is, flame will convert that molecular, that particular, whatever the moiety is present, whatever the metal is present, it will convert into the atomic form. First of all, whatever the solvent is there, that will start to evaporate, and it will give you the tiny solid particle of the metallic salt. Alright, and whatever the solid is there, that will dissociate by the vaporization. Again there will be the vaporization, and which will dissociate into the metal, and that anion, cation and the anion, that is the metal and the A in the gaseous form. This gaseous form is a reversible one. After the thermal treatment, it will get excite into the excited state. Which one? Metal atom only will excite by the thermal way, or say by the thermal heating, you can call it. Then what will happen? The atoms of the metal, that will raise to the higher energy, or say they become the excited by the thermal energy of the flame. The excited atoms, whatever the excited atom will there, that will come, because excited state is the present for the very short period. It is a short lived, means that metal atoms will not be here in the excited state for the more time, means it will come to the ground state. While coming to the ground state, it emits some sort of the energy in the form of the radiation. Got this point? What is there basically? First of all, we are passing that flame photometer uh, in the MSc, that practical is there, or say in the BSc also that practical is there, but we don't have that flame photometer. It is very simple experiment. Again, we are preparing the salt solution of this metal, and we are introducing that salt solution into the flame. Flame will first of all, the first step is the that particular, whatever the solvent is there, that evaporates, and it will gives you the solid salt, and that solid salt again vaporized to give you the, that particular, you can call it as a gaseous form metal atom, and that particular, whatever the anionic moiety is present. And further that, what will happen? Whatever the metal atoms are there, form after the vaporization, they will get excited, they will transfer to the higher energy by the thermal heating, or say thermally, the whatever the flame is there, it will provide the, that particular temperature, or say particular heat energy to that metal atom, and they will get excited to the higher energy. Okay, and that excited atoms will emit the energy in the form of the radiation. Are you getting this point? In the schematic way it is shown. Now now what is that energy? How we can study that energy? We can study that energy in the form of this particular quantum mechanics, or say quantum equation. That quantum equation is nothing but delta E is equal to E2 minus E1 is equal to h nu, means all the energies are quantized. If what we have considered now, the E1 and the E2, that represent the energy of the atoms in the ground state and the excited state respectively. Then the frequency of the radiation emitted when the atoms fall to the ground state will be given by the quantum equation. I have said Planck's equation, it is also called as the Planck's equation. Okay, delta E is equal to h nu, it is also called as the Planck equation, or say you can call it as the quantum mechanics equation, or say quantum equation. Okay, delta E is equal to E2 minus E1 is equal to h nu, where h is Planck constant, nu is the frequency of the emitted radiation. But we know nu is equal to c upon lambda. Frequency is given by the speed of light upon lambda. You can substitute for the new. You will get delta E is equal to Sc by lambda. The wavelength of the emitted radiation will be given by lambda is equal to Sc upon delta E. You got this point up to this point, but it is very simple. What is there? Lambda is equal to Sc by delta E. Means you know the energy, whatever the energy is there, they are constant. H and C is constant. Means you have to just note that particularly whatever the energy will be emitted by this particular element, you can calculate the lambda, that is the wavelength, and we are talking in terms of the wavelength only. The number of atoms excited in the flame is a small fraction of the total atom population. What is there? Very small as compared to the bulk or say population. They are very small. Which are very small? Excited atoms. And that's why the fraction of the metal, the fraction of the total number of atoms excited is given by Boltzmann equation. And that Boltzmann equation is nothing but n upon n0 is equal to a into e raised to minus delta E by kt. This is a Boltzmann equation which correlates the fraction of the total number of the atoms excited out of this particular population, total population of the atoms. N is equal to number of atoms in the excited state. That N0 is nothing but the number of atoms in the ground state. E is the constant for the given element. Delta E is nothing but energy of excitation, which is h nu. K is Boltzmann constant. T is the temperature of the flame in degree Kelvin. I think so. You got this all these terms. You are getting this point. Very simple it is. This is called as the energy of the emitted radiation. How we can how we can calculate or say how we can come to know. Then in the spectroscopy we are just only trying this particular thing, and we are very much habitual of this. In the last example we have talked about the sodium and the potassium. In this energy level diagram we have seen different wavelength. We have talked in terms of the wavelength, and same way here how we can correlate that wavelength with the change in the whatever the energy emitted by this particular metal is shown over here. Okay, by the theoretical point of view. Practically we can know this, what the wavelength is there and which wavelength is suitable for this particular which wavelength is a characteristics wavelength of the element. These are the fixed one. Okay, for the qualitative purpose we can see the further methods are there that can be used for the quantitative and determination. You can determine qualitatively also by knowing the that wavelength whatever the emitted by this particular element. From that you can say this element may be present because this wavelength is corresponding to this. We have seen already for the sodium. What was the wavelength? What was the characteristics wavelength for the sodium? 589 and 589.6, and for the potassium 767 and 769. These two characteristics wavelength we have seen already. Got this point? Now here these things are very much important. This principle is very much important. Principle of the APS is very, very much important. Flame emission spectroscopy, which basically the name itself indicates that the technique using the flame, okay, and emission is there, some energy is emitted, and we are very much that particular interested to see how much and that what the how much the energy is emitted by this particular element. By knowing this we can come to know that how much quantitatively how can we can calculate that. We can see in the next part which methods are used for the quantitative purpose. Here just how that lambda or say wavelength will correlated with the energy is shown over here. This is the principle of the APS. Please go through this principle. Just I am taking the small part daily. Please prepare it well. Okay, please go through this principle well. And today we will stop here. Thank you.